Welcome to Section 1, Part 1 of the PRINCE2 Agile Version 2 Foundation e-learning. The curriculum in this course has been taken from the official syllabus for the foundation exam. In Section 1, we will be covering the key concepts related to the Agile mindset, PRINCE2 Project Management, the people aspect, which is mainly the organizational change management, and we are covering this section in two parts. In Part 1, we will be particularly looking at what agility means, the concept of being agile versus doing agile, the need for agility, the concept of agile mindset, what it means, and the agile manifesto with its 4 values and 12 principles, and also the agile onion Venn diagram, and then certain characteristics of the agile mindset. And then how we can use PRINCE2 Agile in projects as well as in operations, meaning business as usual. And what are the various popular agile approaches in very brief, such as lean startup, Scrum, Kanban, and Lean. And then we'll also look at certain theories such as agile estimation, burn charts, minimum viable product, workshops, user story, definition of ready, definition of done. And then we conclude with the meaning of projects and project management, as in PRINCE2 Agile, and the 7 performance targets of a project, and with an understanding of the project environment or its context, and then an overview of the integrated elements of PRINCE2, which mainly includes the 7 principles, 7 practices, 7 processes, and the context or the environment of the project. There will be 12 questions in the exam from Section 1 overall, which includes both Part 1 and Part 2. We will begin with Part 1. This is where your learning journey begins. For the exam, please note that it is essential for you to remember all the theory because the foundation exam is completely theoretical based on recalling the concepts that you have learned and also your understanding of these concepts. There will be no application or analysis questions. I won't be reading everything on these slides, but giving you some examples and brief ideas here and there. But I would highly recommend that you study this course completely on your own from the PDF that we have made available to you. And if you do that, there is no need to study the official practice book or the official manual for PRINCE2 Agile version 2, because we have got you well covered with this e-learning and its associated PDF that is available in your e-learning access. We begin with what agility is. The ability to embrace and respond to change by pivoting and adapting a previously set course. What this means is agile teams experiment, learn from feedback, and they pivot or change direction quickly. They also look at minimizing waste, reducing delays, and delivering user-focused solutions that create value or provide value to the customer and its users. So it is not just a set of methods or a framework like a process or whatever, but it's also a mindset, which is more important. So there are techniques and there is also the mindset to become agile. An iterative approach is quite important. That's actually a process rather than a mindset. An iteration means delivering in cycles. Product increments are delivered in each cycle. Those cycles are rather frequent and short. And we will get to know more about all this. The agile mindset is also known as being agile. It is about following the values and principles that we will take a look at afterwards. That is what provides adaptability, transparency, and continual learning. On the other hand, we also have the concept of doing agile, where it is about using frameworks and techniques as structured ways of implementing the agile mindset. For example, doing agile can mean running iterations. So being dogmatic to rituals and events and so on, not so flexible for change. There is no concept of taking feedback. So that's just doing agile. Whereas being agile is about welcoming user feedback anytime, learning from experiences, collaborating across teams and departments, adapting quickly to new emerging requirements. So both are needed. And that's because only doing agile does not result in agility. A culture of agility is more important, which is about empowering people and teams to self-manage, self-direct. What that means is they should be able to plan themselves, make decisions themselves, provided they are given a boundary of what the user needs. And that helps them innovate as well. We are now living in the VUCA world: volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Now, these mean different things, but there are also a lot of similarities between these four terms. So we don't have to be really accurate or precise in understanding the four terms separately, but we just say it's a VUCA world. Volatility is about rapid and unpredictable change. Uncertainty is about unpredictable events and resulting issues and risks. Complexity is where the cause and effect is no longer simple and linear, and ambiguity is about no one truth or solution anymore. And this is happening because of rapid technology advances and the market shifts, geopolitical shifts, and so on. Therefore, businesses need to deliver their products in more frequent development cycles rather than a whole product delivered. They should be able to deliver it piecemeal to the customer based on their current priorities or the functionalities that they need. And also, there is a more risk in the environment, and therefore, planning cannot be elaborate or very detailed. There can be a high level approximate plan, but also more precise short term plans. Some examples of VUCA: if you look at volatility, particularly the challenge is unexpected or instability, and it's usually for an unknown duration, but it's easy to understand. There is knowledge about it available easily. An example could be that the prices in the market are fluctuating for certain products or raw materials after there's a natural disaster and a supplier or a group of suppliers become offline. And in case of that, we're also looking at the text below here, how to deal with VUCA. So for example, for the V, the volatility, stability can be achieved through a clear vision to guide towards an overarching goal, which means there should be a proper direction. In spite of the volatility, the direction will remain same with maybe some minor changes to it. Therefore, and also there should be preparation for variation, the volatility, that is by investing in extra resources. So in case of the suppliers going offline because of price fluctuation after a natural disaster, the business can build in some slack and devote resources to be well prepared. For example, they can stockpile inventory or overbuy talent and people. These are expensive steps, but uh, this can be very useful in case of volatility. But the investment to do all this should match the risk of the situation. When it comes to uncertainty, it can be, for example, a competitor's pending product launch makes the future of the business and the market a bit hazy. And we see here that the solution here is constant and close user collaboration in case the users need change, which means that it also means that there has to be improvement in the knowledge gathering and the quality of information that needs to be looked in. So if the competitor's product launch is making the business and the market hazy, then invest in the information, collect it, interpret, and share it. And do things like information analysis and reduce the ongoing uncertainty. In uncertainty, despite a lack of other information, the event's basic cause and effect are known. Therefore, change is possible. Then we come to complexity. An example of a complexity could be something like you're doing business in many countries. They have their own unique regulatory environments in every country, tariffs and cultural values. And the solution here is to be open, clear communication so that everybody knows the plan and can focus on responding effectively as a team, which means that it is important to restructure for self-organization and agility. So here, you could probably bring in some specialists or develop a new specialist and bring up resources adequately to address the complexity. In complexity, the situation has many interconnected parts and variables, which means that some information is available or can be predicted, but the nature or the volume or the size of it is quite overwhelming to process. Then we have ambiguity, and the solution there is to adapt and pivot to another solution quickly, meaning experiment to explore other available options. An example could be that your business decides to move into immature or emerging markets or to launch products that are outside your core competencies. And here you could experiment. Uh, so do some hypotheses and test them. Design your experiment so that lessons can be learned and broadly applied, and then launch those products. So here the characteristic is that causal relationships are completely unclear. There is no precedent, and there are like unknown unknowns, as they say it. Therefore, the VUCA environment happens because mainly uh, due to lack of predicting the result of our actions from the business, and also lack of knowledge about the situation. So, depending upon the lack of knowledge, it can move from ambiguity to uncertainty, and of course, from complexity to volatility. And similarly, due to lack of prediction, the result of actions, it can move from ambiguity, uncertainty to complexity and volatility. For the exam, you just have to basically know what these terms mean, and that's all, and what solutions are needed to deal with these four situations.